I'm at the beach and that lady right by those crows behind me, right there, that lady there, she has completely white hair, gray hair. She must be 65 or 70 at least, and she's just got her little body surfing board or whatever they're called, and she's just playing in the waves, and it's just one of the most enlightening things to watch. And there she goes again to catch another wave right there. I did take a video, I might include it. I don't like to include videos of people, but this is just a beautiful example of play and being in nature. And there she is. Oh, she just dove in. Oh, and then she gets back up. Whoa, the wave kind of crashes against her. She's still just going. She's just... Oh, she knows these waves well. There's a woman over there. She has white hair. She's just out in the waves, and watch what she does. That cool when I have white hair. And I'm here at the beach today because I only have 2 more weeks after this to just play and have fun, so I'm going to focus more on that. And also, I'm feeling the PMS. Since I've been off the meds, last time PMS and this time PMS, I can feel it more, and I feel like I just need to be by myself in case I get mad at people for no reason. And I decided to start tracking that better. I used to keep track of it so I would know, but I never did recently. And I was climbing a mountain, and at the top I had this cramp, and I mistook it for just a climbing a mountain cramp. And it was actually PMS cramps. And when I get PMS cramps, if I don't take some kind of anti-inflammatory right away at the first hint of it, there can be trouble. Trouble in the form of my guts getting really inflamed and basically wanting to evacuate. So imagine being at the top of a mountain after climbing for 2 hours and feeling that sensation, and it's too late to take the anti-inflammatory, which will stop that from happening. So yeah, long story short, I took 4 little poops down the side of a mountain and 1 in the outhouse at the bottom. So it wasn't pleasant, so I learned my lesson to keep track of these things again, and for more than just emotional reasons, but physical reasons too. And I told that story to a couple people, and they thought it was pretty funny that I had to poop 4 times down the side of a mountain. So actually, I was looking at my calendar and noticed that I should get my period on Sunday. And then seeing that, feeling off today tells me that it's PMS for sure. And then I also knew to evacuate the situation, not just evacuate my bowels, it's not time for that yet, but evacuate the situation and just be by myself. When I was on the meds for all those years, I didn't really feel PMS, and that's one of the main reasons I would track it before, is because I knew that was the day I was going to crave a lot of sugar and junk, so I just went with it. And I also knew it was the day I was going to be kind of moody and really easily riled up about nothing. So it's also good to keep track of that for myself, because I could think, oh, I'm experiencing some kind of symptoms, or people around me that know me as, or or something, so I can plan for that day to just not be around people, or to give people a heads up that I'm PMSing, or just avoid people so then they don't start thinking, oh, what's wrong with her? She looks like she's being symptomatic. And just not even giving anyone a chance to think in that way, because I'm still thinking that I probably won't tell people right away when I go home. I'll wait to see how I settle in. It's really nice to be at the beach in the sun with my feet in the sand. And I actually remember just now that I brought 3 altruism quarters. It took a while for that quarter to disappear from the spot that I left it, but finally somebody did find the quarter and feel so lucky. And it was imbued with the intention of this game of wanting someone to feel lucky. But it was put there intentionally, it wasn't a mistake. When I was here the other day with a friend, I actually saw somebody with one of those little metal detectors, and I said to my friend, a beach is not a beach without somebody with one of those metal detectors. So I just realized now that this is actually a good place to put some altruism quarters. I have 3, and one is from 2016. This one is Crater Lake, Oregon, 1859 from 2005. And this one is, oh my goodness, 1982, the year of my birth. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm gonna keep this one for myself. This will be altruism towards myself. What are the odds of a 1982 quarter in the 3 that I picked out for today? Oh, there's some people with horses. I'm a little bit afraid of horses. I rode one when I was very young, and it was scary and jumpy and twitchy, but so was I. So yeah, but not exactly, because once I went blueberry picking and I was walking and this horse just sort of ran up beside me, and so I took a selfie of us, and maybe I'll put that picture in here if I can find it. I might not have it on this phone. So yeah, I just thought of a fun game. If I could put something on a quarter on a beach, and if they find it and they open it, then they win a prize. That would be kind of a fun altruism game. So maybe I'll do that for next time. So I'm leaving this quarter here for the next person who has one of those little metal detectors to find. Maybe I'll bury it a little bit. This is the stick I've been using to play in the sand. It sort of goes like this. Dig a hole. It's like burying treasure. Now, this person's going to feel really lucky because they're actually going to be looking for money and jewels. And the other thing I wanted to say about when I realized that I'm expecting my period on Sunday is that I read in that Hearty Nutritionals book that people who have strong PMS can actually take 4 doses of 4 capsules for the week before. So as soon as I told my poop story, I realized that I could be taking 4 doses instead of 3. So yesterday I took 4 doses of the Hearty Nutritionals, and today I'm just about to take my 4th dose, and I'll continue with that until I get my period and see if that actually helps. I don't know if it'll help with cramps. I get really bad cramps. I have to take naproxen because if I don't, I end up pooping 4 times down the side of a mountain. That might actually be good for the mountain, but it's not very fun. I probably could have started taking 4 on Monday instead of yesterday, which was Wednesday. So I'll probably put that in my calendar next time. Start taking 4 hearty nutritionals today. 4 doses of 4. Because yeah, I'm noticing I'm back to my regular old mood swings that I always would have for all the years before I was ever medicated. And I don't want them to be mistaken for mental illness symptoms. So I'll have to adjust my reality and lifestyle design for that day, and also planning for that day, so putting in my calendar, things like that. Lots of people just in their leisure down here. One of the horses really doesn't want to come down the ramp onto the beach. Could really use one of those animal whisperers right about now to say, "Hey horse, what's going on?" He's on the beach now, he's okay. And I'm going to leave talking about those business extrapolations and the Ken Wilber podcast, Superhuman Extrapolations, until I'm feeling a bit better in terms of this PMS stuff, because I'm just not feeling it, which is totally fine. It's part of being female and not on medications that sort of mess with that natural rhythm. If I went to a doctor, they might say, "Oh, you have PMDD, let me give you some antidepressants." Well, sorry, I've already been on those. I don't want to. I'm okay with having a little bit of downtime. Hey, it made me go to the beach and spend some time all by myself. And it's beautiful here with the hang gliders and the horse riders and the body surfers and the people with their dogs playing fetch, and me just sitting earthing in the sand. Look at the horses go. They love the ocean. They're gonna body surf too. That one guy's taking a little time to get down to the water. I think it's time to take my hearty nutritionals, my 4th dose. I wonder if it will help me not to have to take even naproxen. I think I have about 6 more days of taking Benadryl, and hopefully by that time, if I had to take any naproxen, I will have taken it already. So after that point, I'll be completely medication free until I have to take some naproxen again. I remember I didn't have to take naproxen when I was 100% raw. Then I didn't get menstrual cramps. So hopefully at some point there's a way to be 100% medication free. Medications are designed to stop change or stop people from changing. So if I have high blood pressure, I could change, I could do something about the way I eat and actually put energy and time into learning about how to eat better or preparing healthier foods or spending a bit more money on food, etc. Or I could just take a pill and just continue to sit on the couch and watch TV. So it actually keeps us entertained. We can just keep being entertained, keep eating the same unhealthy processed foods that make certain food companies a lot of money. And with psychological stuff, it actually prevents us from changing. So there's a change process happening in map consciousness that the medication stops. And maybe it also prevents us from changing certain things in our lives. So maybe we have people around us that we don't want to be around, including maybe family for some people. Yet we can take a pill and then just still be around those people that otherwise we just might have to change our situation. So it prevents change, and it stops us from making changes, and it takes away our energy to make changes, and so many things. If there were no medications, we'd all really have to change as human beings. And we'd probably stop buying all this crap that's killing us because we couldn't rely on medications to temporarily make it at least better according to the numbers on the tests that we get, but I don't know how much it really improves quality of life in the long run. Maybe it extends life to a certain point, but it doesn't really decrease morbidity. It's not like we can take a magic pill and be living the exact wonderful life that we want. So really, it actually stops us from being intelligent because we don't have to really look into things and think for ourselves. We just go to the doctor and they tell us what to do, and we can just continue doing the unintelligent things that led to whatever scenario. I'm talking about physically. The psychological thing, it's a lot more complicated than just one's own body. It's relational, there's dynamics in families and society and trauma and so many things. But even if we didn't have those meds, maybe we'd really have to look at ourselves as a humanity and stop doing these things to each other that lead to these supposed personal psychological problems. There's no such thing as a personal psychological problem. It can manifest in a person, but it's not something that manifests in isolation. It's in the design of how we are as humanity right now. And I only bring that up because I was talking about not wanting to take any medications. I'm not going to go on and on about that stuff. It's really boring to me. And meds make the nervous system weak, so we can't face anything. And it's not that we can't face it, it's actually something more than that I'm seeing. The nervous system doesn't attract those situations that it would attract if the nervous system was strong and clear, that it would be able to face from a position of strength and always moving through life from a position of strength. Thus, the nervous system and what one can move towards actually improves and increases over time. So if I'm on a med, I'm kind of stuck in the same level of reality and I'm never going to get out. But if my nervous system is clear and strong, and I face something, not face as in some big thing, but just be with life in the moment and am able to be strong through that, then the next situation makes one stronger and stronger and stronger, instead of actually making the nervous system weaker and weaker over time. So instead of having this allostatic load process, it's actually increasing the capacity of the nervous system over time. And I'm feeling like that can only happen when the nervous system is clear, because one then faces things clearly and can see what's happening and act in a meaningful and relevant way. So with the medications mediating perceptions, we're not actually meeting what would be made salient to a clear nervous system in the exact same situation. But unfortunately, the exact same situation is never going to repeat. But as soon as one is clear, one can actually move out of that energy level of just sort of moving to avoid trauma. And that's sort of what happens when one is in so-called recovery and maybe has a wellness recovery action plan. Most of the plan is actually to avoid triggers and to keep oneself calm and keep oneself safe and do daily maintenance and early warning signs, and things are breaking down, and it's all about watch out for the breakdown. But I'm feeling like when we're on these chemicals that weaken our nervous system, we're always going to be watching out for the breakdown. And I wonder if when it's time to be clear, when it's time to go from pure to pure, we actually just get stronger over time, and then the need to look for triggers and warning signs just drops away. Imagine being in the state of so-called mania, and instead of getting stronger and then falling apart and floundering, imagine if we just got stronger and stronger and stronger. What would that look like? And to me, that looks like unfolding one's superhumanity. And that's why it would be important, actually, before ever deciding to taper, to actually really harvest one's so-called mania or magic or superhumanity, to look for those hints of how to design one's life to move into superhumanity, not avoid the scary stuff and avoid trauma, but just by naturally moving in the field of what one's gifts are, one might be able to just move in strength. And then if there are any things that are somewhat traumatic, they will feel way less traumatic because one is moving mainly in strength. And I'm talking about this because I've had the sense of this since I've felt more clear, and with the support of the micronutrients, I think. And it reminds me of the book Power versus Force by Dr. David Hawkins, and how he would use muscle testing to test for truth or falsehood. So if you ask yourself a question and you do this muscle test where you press on someone's arm or something, if it's false or requires some kind of force, then the nervous system, the human nervous system, will actually go weak. And if it has power or is over the level of 200 on the calibrated scale of consciousness, it makes the nervous system go strong. So what I'm feeling is that being on meds actually prevents the nervous system from going strong. So one's nervous system isn't moving as a resonator of strength and able to draw strength from whatever situations and life events they move through. So those meds keep us in a lower state of consciousness by sort of toxifying our nervous system. And maybe it's blocking some of the scary stuff that we're trying to move through to get to that place of strength. But if we can move through that scary stuff and get to a place of strength with a clear nervous system, perhaps we can just continue to move up the scale of consciousness from a position of strength, of power, of love, above the line of 200 on the scale of consciousness. And it's really nice to get these free ocean waves, sound waves and actual waves in the background. And I'm talking a bit louder, realizing that it might be hard to hear.